Welcome to Easy to Love Yoga with Shanna. Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. I appreciate your support. Let's begin our class today. So this is a chair yoga class. We're not going to use a yoga strap today, and we are going to get up behind the chair and do a couple of standing poses. So just be ready for that. Make sure that you have a yoga mat under your chair so your chair does not slip. Let's come seated forward in our chair. So the glutes are on the chair, the hamstrings are off the chair, allowing us to have that nice 90-degree bend at the knees and our feet flat on the floor. Let's roll the shoulders back and down, releasing any tension and placing the hands wherever they may land on your lap. Closing your eyes and sitting nice and tall here, and just taking a moment to notice your breath. Notice when you inhale, do you allow the chest to rise and then the belly to rise? Exhaling, allowing the belly to fall and then the chest to fall. So let's take a couple rounds of breath and just notice. Let's begin a scan of our body, starting at the crown of our head, working down to our toes. Notice any areas you need to be mindful of as you move through this practice today. And remember, if a pose doesn't feel right or is uncomfortable, you do not need to do that pose. It's important to always keep yourself safe in this or any other practice. Completing our body scan and bringing our attention once again to our breath. Let's notice the next 4 rounds of breath, breathing deeply. Keeping your eyes closed here, let's lower one ear towards the shoulder, gently stretching out the opposite side of the neck. So sitting tall in your chair. One more breath. Draw the head back to our starting position, and this time lowering the opposite ear to the other shoulder, stretching the opposite side of the neck. One more breath here. Returning the head to center, and this time lifting the chin up as if you were gazing at the ceiling, stretching the front of the neck, relaxing the shoulders here. One more breath. Returning to our starting position, and this time lowering the chin in towards the chest, stretching the back of the neck. One more breath here. Lifting the head, gently opening the eyes. Let's take our hands and point down to the sides of our chair. We're going to start rolling out the wrists in one direction as we allow the arms to rise. Come front to the body and lower, and come back out to the side. Once again, rising up, coming across the front of the body. And we're going to change directions. So rolling in the opposite direction, allowing the arms to rise up. Come down in front of the body, back to the starting point. Once again, rising up and coming down in front of the body. Beautiful. Let's just shake everything out. Now we're going to take our feet on a slight diagonal. We're going to start bringing our elbows to the knees. And we're going to bring one hand up and over, looking through to the ceiling, getting a nice stretch in the side body. Holding one more breath. Bringing that elbow down to the knee, and let's change sides, reaching up, looking through the hand at the ceiling. Nice side stretch. One more breath. Bringing that elbow back down. Now let's reach across the front of the body at eye level, looking beyond those fingers in front of the body. One more breath. Elbow back to knee, and let's change sides, reaching across at eye level, looking beyond the fingers. One more breath. Elbow back to knee, and this time allow the hands to slide down to the ankles, I want you to relax your back here, starting at the low back, working up to mid back, upper back, shoulders, and eventually the neck, lowering the crown of the head towards the mat. Just sitting here in this nice forward fold, allowing all the muscles in the back to relax. Holding one more breath like this. And now we're going to take our hands and grab our elbows, feeling the weight change and draw our bodies a little closer to the mat simply by changing the position of our arms. Breathing deeply. One more breath here. Release the hands from the elbows back to the feet. Slowly allow the fingers to come up the legs as we rise up. Bring those feet in front of the body once again, having that nice 90-degree bend at the knees. Bringing the hands to the hips. And let's rotate in one direction, making a nice circle. One more complete circle in this direction. And now let's change directions, rotating the other way. And just notice for yourself if one side seems a little bit more difficult than the other. Perhaps it does, perhaps it doesn't. Just notice. One more rotation here. Beautiful. Now we're going to do a couple rounds of cow and cat breath. So we're going to start in cow. So we're going to allow our arms to drop to the sides. So for cow, we're going to inhale, look up as we lift the arms. And for cat, exhale, lower the arms and arch your back towards the back of the chair. Inhale into cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And come back up into a nice seated position. And let's begin rolling the shoulders to the back of the room. Notice if you're holding any tension in the shoulders today. And rolling those shoulders the opposite direction towards the front of the room. Beautiful. Now we're going to take one hand to the opposite knee, bringing the other arm behind you on the chair. I want you to sit nice and tall. We're going to exhale and twist and look over the shoulder, holding here for 8 rounds of breath. Breathing deeply, giving the muscles a chance to relax. Two more rounds of breath. Slowly unwind, coming back to our starting position, and let's change sides. So hand to opposite knee, other arm behind you on the chair, sitting tall, and then exhale and twist, holding 8 rounds of breath. One more breath here. Allow yourself to slowly unwind, coming forward. We're going to hold onto both sides of the chair, picking up one foot, rolling out the ankle in one direction. And let's roll the opposite direction. And turn that into a point and a flex. Point, flex, point, flex. One more time. Point and flex. Let's change feet, rolling out the ankle in one direction. Rolling the other way. And just notice for yourself, does one side feel a little bit more challenging than the other? Just take notice. And turn that now into a point and a flex. Point, flex, point, flex. And one more time. Point and flex. Beautiful. Now we're going to extend one leg forward, bring the opposite foot across the knee. Now you can stay here if you have super tight hips, or you can bring that foot on the floor back to that 90-degree bend, keeping your knee, your foot flexed to protect the knee. Now we're going to exhale and lower towards the legs, feeling a stretch in the hip. So protecting the knee, keeping your foot flexed. Breathing deeply here. 4 more rounds of breath. Lower closer to the legs if you can. One more breath here. We're going to slowly rise up. We're going to take that foot on the floor and let it come forward so we can easily take that foot off of the knee. And now let's do the opposite side. So once again, have a hold of your foot. You can draw that knee back so it has a nice 90-degree bend. Keep your foot flexed to protect your knee. And we're going to exhale and lower towards the legs, feeling the stretch in the hips. Most of us have really tight hips. We spend a lot of our days sitting. This is a great stretch you can do throughout the day. Now 4 more rounds of breath. Lower closer to your legs if you can. One more breath here. Beautiful. Slowly rise up. Foot on the floor comes forward to allow us to slide that foot off of the knee easily. Coming back into that nice posture where our glutes are on the chair, hamstrings off the chair, 90-degree bend at the knees. Beautiful. Now we're going to hold onto the chair with both hands. We're going to flex one foot and we're going to rotate externally, thinking about controlling the knee as we make those circles in that outward direction. Sitting nice and tall here. Focus on your posture and keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. Let's do 2 more. We're going to pause and now let's rotate internally. Two more. Beautiful. Let's set that foot down. Now once again, focus on your posture. Sitting nice and tall. Flex the opposite foot. Rotate externally. Two more. We're going to pause and now rotate internally. Two more. Beautiful. And we're going to get up off of the chair. So I'm going to pick up my chair. I'm going to keep the legs on the mat. So make sure that you're standing behind your chair and that all 4 legs of your chair are on the mat. So we're going to come behind the chair. We're going to have a seat distance between the back of the chair and our feet. We're going to hold onto the chair here. And all we're going to do is rise up onto our toes. Have a slight bend in the knees. Let's deepen that bend slightly. Holding here. Straighten the knees out slightly. Let's lower halfway down. All the way down. One more time. Let's come up onto the toes all the way up. Bend the knees. Straighten the knees slightly. And lower all the way down. Beautiful. This time we're going to think about balancing on our heels. So holding onto your chair, I want you to bend your knees. Think about sticking your glutes towards the wall behind you, leaning the body weight forward, lifting your toes up off the ground. And we're just going to bend slightly into this, deepen that stretch. Holding. Rising up, allowing your feet to flatten. And let's do that one more time. Body weight comes forward, glutes come back. Rise up onto your heels only. Toes lifted off of the ground. One last breath. And lower down. Beautiful. Let's come up onto the toes. Halfway down. All the way down onto the heels. And back to flat feet. Beautiful. Now we're just going to stand to the side of the chair. We're going to keep this knee slightly bent to help support us. We're going to start with our toe pointed out to the side, hands on the waist, and we're just going to lift the toe off the ground just a couple of inches. Standing nice and tall here. Lifting the toe off to the side. Two more. Beautiful. Now we're going to draw that foot in front of the body. And once again, lifting that toe a few inches off the ground. Two more. Beautiful. Now let's draw that foot behind us, toes touching down behind us, and lifting that toe just a tiny bit off the ground. Engaging the glutes, squeezing the glutes. Let's do 2 more. Beautiful. And now let's bring our support to this leg, knees slightly bent. You can go to the other side of your chair, move it to the other side of your mat if you like, or stay in this position. We're going to start with that toe out front. We're going to lift. Two more. Beautiful. Now I'm just going to move out to the side so I have room. We're going to start with that toe off to the side and lift. 2 more. Beautiful. And coming back to center, bringing that toe behind you, lifting it off the floor ever so slightly behind, squeezing the glutes. 2 more. Beautiful. And bringing your feet flat once again, hip width apart, and let's just shake them out. Bringing your hands to your hips, and let's just rotate. Notice any tension you might have in your low back or in your hips. Release the tension. 1 more rotation in this direction, and let's rotate the other way. 1 more rotation. Beautiful. Now we're going to turn towards the chair once again. We're going to have our hands on the edge of the chair. We're going to step back just enough so we can have our arms fully extended. Our feet are hip width apart. We're going to bend the knees slightly, and we're going to move into a modified down dog. So we're going to think about drawing the glutes to the back wall as we lower the torso and bring the ears between the elbows. Now remember, keep both knees slightly bent. Breathing deeply here in this modified down dog. Two more rounds of breath. Slowly lifting the torso. Once you have a firm grip on your chair, and I want you to come up onto your toes. Now we're going to do some push-ups towards the chair. Try to think about keeping your elbows in towards the body as we lower down to the chair and press back up. Go at your own pace. If you need to just do a half a push-up, that's okay as well. Do what you can. This is your practice. Let's do 2 more. And extending the arms out once again, allowing the feet to come flat, bending the knees, drawing the glutes to the wall behind you, and this time lowering your hands to the seat of the chair and coming into down dog a little bit deeper than before. Think about lengthening the spine, knees slightly bent to protect the joints. Two more rounds of breath here. Slowly lifting the torso, bringing your hands back to the top of your chair and walking towards the chair. Beautiful. Now let's come standing on a diagonal. We're going to come into a quarter squat, just a quarter squat. I want you to think about a nice straight spine, squeezing the glutes here. And let's draw the arms into cactus pose. So this is actually goddess pose. Now we're going to draw everything together in front of the body, squeezing the elbows and palms of the hands together. Let's add a pulse with the legs. 1 more pulse. Hold your quarter squat. Let's come into neutral with the arms. And let's draw those arms behind us, engaging the shoulder blades. Coming back into neutral. And lowering those hands down, we're going to remain in this quarter squat. Just bring your hands to your hips or your waist. We're going to lift the right toe off the floor, place it down. Lift the left, place it down. Now we're going to alternate lifting the right toe and the left toe, staying in that quarter squat. Once you've got the feet going, you can just think about trying not to bounce too much. Isolating the movement in the lower body, not bouncing. Just alternating those toe lifts. Let's do 1 more each foot. We're just going to rise up in place, shake the legs out, release any tension. Let's come back into that quarter squat. And this time we're going to lift the right heel, place it down, left heel, place it down. Alternate between the right heel and the left heel. And once you've got the feet going, try not to bounce. Stay in that quarter squat. Isolate the muscles in the legs as you lift one heel and then the next. Of course, if you can do a deeper squat, you're more than welcome to do that. Once more for each foot. Beautiful. Let's rise up, shake out the legs once again. So now we're going to combine everything together. So if you prefer to have your hands at heart center in front of the body for balance, that's okay. Let's come into that quarter squat. We're going to think about lifting toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel. Repeat that to yourself in your head. And once you've got the feet going, try not to bounce. Stay low in that squat. Let's do one more set. Toe, toe, heel, heel. And let's rise up. Let's heel toe the feet together until they're hip width apart. And let's just shake it out. Beautiful. Now coming behind the chair, we're going to step back. We're going to have that seat distance behind the chair once again. And we're going to have our toes on a diagonal. We're going to think about keeping the spine straight. So as we lower down into a half squat, I want you to think about keeping the spine straight. So if you need to lean forward, keep the spine straight. Don't round the back and shoulders. So we're going to hold on to the chair for balance. We're going to bend the knees, and we're going to slowly come into that quarter squat. You're going to adjust your feet. Maybe they need to be closer together or perhaps wider apart. Come down a little bit more. Now I want you to think about where your feet need to be. If you needed to lower just one more bit lower, do they need to be closer or further apart? So adjust your feet. And once again, quarter squat. And then come down into a half squat. And if you can, do a full squat. You can bring your hands just holding on to the seat of the chair. Sitting here, breathing deeply. Taking a moment. Now we can change our weight, shift our weight from the right heel to the left heel. Gently shifting the weight. We're going to pause and just hold here. Bring the hands to the top of the chair. We're going to slowly rise up. We're going to heel toe those feet together. Let's come up onto the toes. Slowly coming down onto the heels. Once again, onto the toes. Slowly coming down onto the heels. And shake out the legs. And let's come back into a seated position on the chair. Fantastic job today. So once again, glutes on the chair, hamstrings off the chair, nice 90-degree bend. Beautiful. Let's roll the shoulders. The other way. Beautiful. Starting with a few rounds of cow and cat breath. Inhaling, looking up into cow. Exhale and arch into cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Last time, inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. And this time, lifting the arms up as we inhale. Bring the palms together, lowering them down to heart center, closing your eyes. Taking a moment to notice your breath. Notice the belly rising on the inhale. And taking one last opportunity to scan your body, starting at the crown of your head, working down to the toes. And notice without judgment any changes, the sensations in your body. Perhaps you just feel more energetic. Perhaps you feel a little bit more limber. Perhaps you don't notice any difference at all. Noticing without judgment. Bringing your attention back to your breath. Taking a moment to thank yourself for participating in this class, spending this mindful time working on movement, flexibility, and just really bringing energy throughout the body by ensuring that we're breathing deeply. I'd like to thank all of you for sharing your energy with me in this practice. I hope you have a beautiful day. Namaste. Thank you so much, and until next time.